Hello. I'm getting so quick at that now. I'm absolutely proud of myself. I did all of that and I had a second to spare. So that's even better. Welcome. We are back once again. It is All for United WFC. Don't change your channels. I absolutely have changed things about a bit. Don't know how Connor's going to feel about this, but I've stuck myself in the middle, which isn't usually where we go. But he's not here and I am. So I'll just have to get used to that one. We've got a cracking panel here. Two people who we've seen before, two people you might never have seen before unless you've been wandering the wonderful world of Twitter and happen to come across either of them. But let's have our hellos first of all to everybody. Steve up there in the corner, how you doing?
Good, thank you, mate. Yourself?
Yes, I'm not too bad at all. Thank you. Always pleased when it's Friday.
Pleasure to be on as always.
Pleasure to have you on. And over to my right, it's to my right as I'm sat here, but looking at that, it's to my left, really, isn't it? I always forget that. We have Ellie, of course, who is always around. How are you?
Oh, I'm brilliant. A fun-packed weekend of football, so can't wait for it. Thanks for having me back on.
No, thanks for coming on. It's always good to have. And of course, we have our two newbies. So, Helen, nice to see you. How are you? You all good?
Hi, yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. And of course, down here, we have Bethany. And how are you, Bethany?
Hi, I'm good.
Great news. Thanks for coming on. So, here we are. 4 new people, but the same old stuff going on. And we've got the same old people in the comments as ever. Loads of welcomes already. Big Johnny K, friend of the show, he's in there. We've got John Mickey, personal favourite of mine there. Obviously, we've got John again. Sorry still to hear about that, John. I really hope she does get better soon. And, of course, Sporty Chatbox. Good. Nice to see you here as well. And, of course, the ref, Ian, is here too. So, lots going on. It's been a heck of a week, hasn't it? Lots of stuff going on nationally, but more importantly in the football. And it was a cracking start to the WSL season. So we know it's a fan preview. We are going to have a look at the West Ham game. Before we do that, it seems only right and fair that we pop around and see how everybody felt about what can only be described as an absolute walloping of Reading at the weekend at LSV. We'll kick off with you, Ellie. We know how keen you were to get back into LSV and see the WSL kicking off again. How did you feel that result went, and what was your initial thoughts of the game?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I loved every minute of it from the start to the finish because I thought we were outstanding. The first half, we was so good the first half. But I mean, second half we always, I don't know. I think we just slowed down in the second half. But I think that's what Marc's trying to get into the girls now and say we need to keep fighting in the second half. Because, I mean, we did lack a little bit in the second half, but at least we didn't put any in. At least got a clean sheet, and at least we didn't really have to do anything. Overall, it was a really good experience having some new fans in, loads of new fans actually, and all little girls and boys with all the girls at the back of the shirts. It's just amazing to see. Straight after Euros as well, it's really good. And yeah, it's like I think on the social medias as well, these last couple of days, all these little girls and boys standing with the girls, and it's just really amazing to see. So I just hope it continues, all the attendance, because I thought it was really good attendance at the weekend. So just hope may that continue at Lindley Sports Village.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right to bring up the attendance. It was fabulous here. You know, I mean, we've been to LSV many times over the last year, and obviously always see the opposite side completely empty. We sometimes see people behind the goal, but generally it's a bit empty. It was lovely to see quite so many people in there. And they were treated, Steve, to 2 Maya Letitia goals on a debut. Not bad for a defender, eh?
Absolutely brilliant. You know, obviously we've spoken about her before on a couple of shows building up to this, and we were all excited to see her when we saw her last year playing against us. Quite a few of us were just going, that's the kind of signing you got to make, young, exciting defender. And then seeing her out on the pre-season, one of the comments I made early on to Connor and to Charlie was seeing how calm she was playing out from the back, and she showed that again. The balls forward, they're not just sprayed, they're not just cleared, they've got purpose, and she was able to do that and then get into the box and scored 2 good finishes, to be fair. So showing that she could actually be a bit of an all-rounder. And, you know, it's 2 goals out of 4 pretty well taken for a convincing win. You know, Ellie said, shame we didn't get any more in the second half, but it was nice to see the game management. Reading were always going to come back out and sit in, be a lot more compact. But fair play to the girls, who did what they had to do. A good 3 points, good start to the season.
Absolutely, it certainly was a good start to the season, and we've just got to ask you this question, Ellie, because I think Connor's just a bit intrigued. What time did you get there again?
8:30.
Wow, I thought I got there early at about 9:15, but wow.
Yeah, because they had there was loads of little girls. I think one little girl had a football with her, so I just ended up having a kick around with her for like half an hour, and then brilliant day.
Well, if I'd have known you were getting there that early, I'd have got you to go to Morrison's and stand in the queue for me, because when I joined that, I thought I'd found the one to meet the Queen. It was unbelievable how long that line was. Outrageous. So much so that I just had to go and buy something from the side instead. But never mind. It was all good. So, yes, Maynard Tissier, 2 great goals. Katie Zellum on her 100th appearance for the club. Smashed home a penalty as well. Helen, you would have had a perfect view of that, obviously behind the opposite goal, but dead on. How did you feel the match went, and what was your thoughts on Zellum's performance in that game?
So I thought the team really came out the blocks, started really quick, which we haven't always seen, and it's been a bit criticised before. And we just didn't give Reading a sniff. Just really motivated to play our way, play quickly into passing between the players, get those relationships set in, embedded in the team. And I thought Zellum had a good game. I thought she was up there with perhaps player of the match, but Maya's goals certainly sort of maybe unexpected a bit for most people, but it's good we've got that ability, because quite often it would be Millie Turner you'd be looking to get in on the headers from set pieces, and it hasn't always worked. But if Maya can do it as well, then great. And Zellum with 2 assists and a penalty. She's so reliable from the spot. I think, to my knowledge, she's only ever missed one, and that was in a shootout. So, yeah, a very good performance on her 100th appearance. And I think I was expecting a bit more from the second half. Like, really, we could have scored 5 and gone top of the table, but you can't be too unhappy with the first game of the season going how it went. So, yeah, very good.
100, I couldn't agree more. 4-0 is fabulous. Of course, 5 would have been lovely, because we could have, as you said, taken that top spot, which would have been lovely, wouldn't it? Just be sitting there top. Chelsea not winning, City not winning, and Arsenal sitting second. That would have been a wonderful thing. But also great Zellum knowledge there, because you're quite right. She did only miss 1 penalty. Do we know who that was against, guys and gals? I only know because somebody told me.
Was it Leicester?
Oh, not quite. No. They are north of the Watford Gap, though, so I'll give you that one. It's our bogey team, that team we can't stand playing, Durham. Apparently it was against them. So, yeah, little penalty shootout against Durham. And, yeah, that was the only one she's missed. Other than that, she's done really well. So, and to highlight the 2 assists as well. And then, of course, Bethany, we was pleased to hear you managed to see the entire match all the way from over there with your binoculars. Alessia Russo kicks off as well, her account, 15th goal of her career at Manchester United, first of the season, 4-0 win, almost top of the table. Can you ask for much more?
No, I thought she played absolutely brilliantly. She's good at holding up the ball, but she's also good at making those runs. And it was her run that she made for the goal was really, really good and really smart as well. And then obviously the thumping header was just wonderful. And the linked up play between Garcia and Anna to actually cross it in so she could get that, it was probably perfect, actually.
I think you're right. I think it was one of those games where, again, people said it went a bit flat, and I think you could put some of that down to the football as well as the fans. But I think we're just not used to it, are we? We're so used to being sat there needing to cheer the team on and hoping they're going to get another goal or so to make it comfortable for us. And actually, it was just so comfortable that I don't think we really knew what to do. 4-0 up. What do you do? Do we need to cheer you on to score some more? It was sun's out. Everyone was having a lovely time. So, absolutely. I think it was far and away one of the better games that I've certainly watched. And this was a great question or great point as well. Honor and Lucia down the right. I mean, open policy, anyone who wants to come in on this. But Lucia Garcia obviously came in and did a superb job. But that right-hand side, it did really look like they were connecting really well, didn't it? And having the Spanish right side has got to be a positive moving forward, don't we think?
Yeah, you can obviously tell they played together quite a bit, to be fair to them. And we said it again, just building up to the season, that Lucia just looked that little bit special. She could drop into those spaces. And obviously, we've seen Honor likes to do that overlap. The fact that Lucia will drop into those little pockets and be able to create the 1-2s are going to create the angles that we need to get past the defence. And you're going to see that understanding become a lot better as the season goes on. Hopefully, get the ball into a box a bit quicker. And that's where you're going to start to hurt defences. So, great partnership. And they did really well in their first game for United.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I've got to post it because he gets upset if I don't. And it's a nice, easy one. There we go. I feel like we need to point this out. Connor at the moment has got the All for United WFC comments going on there. So he would like you all to hit the like button. Now, maths has never been Connor's strongest point. He wants to hit 20 on the video, and obviously there's only 16 at the moment watching. So hopefully we can get some of those people in. If you've got double accounts, maybe you might click on it as well. But I say let's get more. Let's double it. Let's try and get 30. That'll really wind him up because he only gets to 20 on his. But absolutely.
Can I also add about the match? I think Toon and Russo are such a good link-up play. They'll be crucial this season because obviously they've been in Lionesses together, and I think they can bring it into the club together. Obviously, Russo scored the goal. She did, yeah, she did. So yeah, and they'll be really good link up this year, I reckon. Especially for the Lionesses and then coming into club doing it.
Spot on. I don't think I can disagree with anything anyone said so far. And I think it was hard to find a player that didn't play well. But Helen, I mean, you spent 45 minutes behind her. Did Mary Apps do anything when you were there? Because I feel like she was the only one who probably felt like she had a night off.
She was near the halfway line most of the time. There was, I think it was from a Reading corner. She had to save to her right-hand post. I think she saved with her knees. She was it was a bit of a rebound in the box. But she just never looked like troubled, never looked in danger of conceding. Even then, when there was a slight scare maybe in front of her, she had it covered. So, yeah, I was surprised how lacklustre Reading were. But, to our benefit, so it's okay.
I think that was a great point. I mean, on the Monday show, Connor told us to look out for, I can't remember her name. That's how much I listened to what Connor said about the Reading players. Deanna Rose, was it? Deanna Rose. They just didn't offer anything. It was.
She's injured now as well.
Say again?
She's injured now, I think, as well.
Well, pride, probably. That's what's happened. Her pride has been injured. Possibly had both of its legs broken because they were walloped well and truly. And, that's not even just putting the old supporter bluster in. They were run off the park. This is a lovely thing to read. So good, I disappeared into my background. Big fan of the channel. Been watching for a while and thought it was time to say hello. So, Ashley, thank you very much for saying hello. Thank you for watching. And do make sure you've hit that like button because we've now hit 21 people viewing. So we should be able to hit the 20 that Mr. Connor likes us to hit. And that's good because then that means I get to keep my job for another week. So if you don't leave me in a job for another week, just don't like it. Probably would be the idea. If you do, then do. So that's the review bit. We spent a nice 15 minutes on that. That's going to get me a slap anyway because I'm sure she'll only add 10. But the big game's coming up against West Ham. And we have got some statistics, as ever, as you would expect me to have when we are talking about West Ham. We played them 6 times, and we've lost to them just the once with a rather disappointing 3-2 defeat. We had 1 draw. We've won the rest. And an interesting stat that I shared with everybody is that when we play at home, we're currently 7-0 up on aggregate. We've not conceded a single goal at home. But when we play them away, it becomes a little bit trickier. Because we've scored 7 again in those 3 games, but we've conceded 6. Now, obviously, this is an away game that we've got coming up. What's your initial thoughts? And we'll go with Ellie first on this one. What's your initial thoughts on the West Ham game Are you worried? Is there anything in particular that stands out for you?
Well, I'm just worried a bit because you see our away record with them isn't as good as our own record. I think last season's game ended in, was it 1-1 or was 2-2, one of them, by a silly mistake right near the end, which we could have won that game, but obviously a silly mistake cost us. But this game on Sunday, that's all I'm worried about, because we've got not a bad record, but just a bit of a not so good record away from home at that ground. So I just think it should. I like the starting 11 on Saturday, so maybe I'd love to see starting 11 the same on Sunday, because they all played really, really well, and it's good having Millie Turner back as well at the back. She did brilliantly as well, but I'm just worried about the because of the record, but hopefully we just do it. We just do it again, and just show them who's boss. Because I think they've probably looked at how we play, and they've probably looked at that game on Saturday, and thought, yeah, we can damage them here, and that's not what we want. We want to go there and actually beat them like 3-4-0. So hopefully.
Let's hope so. Absolutely. And TJ, as ever, sobering up any joke that I make. She's not just hurt her Achilles, she's out for the season potentially, which makes everything I just said not very funny at all, really. So thanks for that, TJ. And obviously, we hope she does, get better soon, because nobody wants to see us out for that time, especially not for Reading. We quite like Reading, apart from your stand. Your stand isn't very nice, but other than that, we love Reading. And yes, Connor, you absolutely are good. So, Bethany, there you are. You're all the way over in America. Number one, will you get the chance to see the West Ham game, do you think? And number two, how do you see that one going?
Yeah, thankfully I will. It's on at 10 a.m. on Saturday, so I don't work in the morning. I work on Sunday, so I'll be able to catch it, thankfully. And it's on the FA Player, which is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I am a little worried about the record, but I also know that new season, new signings, basically new team, and a lot of those players are coming back from the Euros that have had really good tournaments, especially Toon versus Herbs. I think they'll bring into that game a little bit more oomph in that mentality to be able to get it over the line. So yeah, I'm really excited to see it.
Fair points. And Helen, West Ham had a 1-0 win against Everton at the weekend. I don't know if you predicted that or not, but certainly they had a 1-0 win. We've had a 4-0 win. Both good starts. Any concerns, any worries, any thoughts like that about the game?
2 words: low block. I think West Ham are going to do what Reading did the second half, but from the start. And if Marc's got tricks up his sleeve that he's going to use to get around that, like he keeps promising, then great. If not, it might be a bit frustrating, but I'm hoping we can sneak a 1-0, maybe a 2-0. But we need to learn from the previous encounters and see the game out. And we have got Adriana Leon, who could give us some inside knowledge, as well as Martha Thomas, of course. So that might work in our favour.
I mean, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, if that was to work in our favour? You're quite right. We had Leon. She played in the last game for West Ham against us as well. And say Martha Thomas, but those 2 words, Steve, are not words really that Man United fans want to hear, if we're being brutally honest, because it's not something that we can really claim to have been that adept at doing, is breaking down that low block. Does that scare you?
Probably last season it would have, but to be honest with you, as been alluded to with the new signings, Marc's already spoken about it. That was a problem last season, and the signings he's made to try and overcome that option. And as well, we've got a bit more experience, so Leslie, Zell, Tooney, they've been through that last season, and I'm sure the analysts would have had plenty of footage and ways around that to come into this pre-season, the training sessions. So we know West Ham are going to do that. they're going to try and they're going to take their chances where they can and come at us on the counter, but I think they will be sat back, and it's going to be up to them to find a way around it, up to us to find a way around it, and we've got the tools to do that. So I've seen a couple of 3-0s going around in the chat, and to be honest with you, that's my gut feeling. Is it's going to be a hard work game. It's always going to be a hard work game going away to West Ham. They're not going to give you a result for nothing, but we've got the ability. We've just got to believe in ourselves, go out there and do what we do.
Good points. And Connor has thrown himself in here. They've also got Kirsty Smith, so yeah, maybe a little bit of knowledge both sides. Actually, that's a very good point. And Chris, don't worry, I often get all the teams in claret and blue mixed up as well. I still think we're playing Burnley half the time, so I won't worry about that. They're all the same again. They're all north of Watford Gap, apart from West Ham, of course. We're all the way around in Dagenham, in what can only be described as an interesting stadium. So the last game that we had, obviously, was 1-1. Ella Toon, one of your favourite people, Ellie, scored that goal. Martha Thomas, Leah Galton in our home game, they've managed to get a couple. There was an own goal as well. We've had the likes of Russo who have scored before as well. Who do you fancy? Who do you think is going to be scoring, if we get any, at the weekend?
Adrian and Leon, I'd love her to get a goal against a former club. That would be brilliant, that. Seeing her just celebrate in front of all those fans, yeah, that would be brilliant. But I don't know. I don't want to be biased to say yes. I just think Tooney's going to get a goal again there. And Russo as well, because Russo is really, really good with her head. And mainly Tizier. Because she's a player. I don't even have any words for her. She's just outstanding. Because I didn't really think about her before the game on Saturday, because I didn't really know a lot about her. But she came out so strong, so she'll get a goal on Sunday. And I think Katie Zellum will again as well.
Well, quite a few then, is what we're saying there. Lots of opportunities for goals, and this is what I love about this team. It's the fact.
It'd be nice to get a few new scorers in there early on as well, though, wouldn't it, guys? You know, we want Leslie to go on a run. Of course, we do. You need goal scorers who are in form, especially your forwards. But it'd be nice if some of the midfielders do get in there. Leah Galton as well. Get that goal in early in the season and start to build that confidence, that form.
Absolutely. There are loads of players who could potentially go out there and get some goals. So that would be fantastic. Yes, it is the word, but I was trying to be polite. Every now and again, I have to be that. But yes, it is. And you are entirely welcome, Ashley. So one of the things that I want to bring up, and I shall just ask you lovely ladies at the bottom for this one. I'm just trying to find the button because I've hidden it somewhere. There it is. That's what I'm after. This shouldn't hide anyone. Let's see magic now. There it is. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So you can't see me. Excellent. Can see everybody else. Perfect. Couldn't have done this if I tried. So yeah, Helen and Beth. Beth, if you don't know which one you are, it's because your name is missing now. So don't worry. Just it's still there. You've got the cap on. So Helen and Beth, between the two of you, that's the team that was the last game that we played against West Ham. As you can see there, the front four, you could argue, have all got a shout of playing within the game. It's really at the back, isn't it, where we're looking like we might see some changes. And therefore, is that why we should perhaps be a bit more optimistic about the fact that this 6 goals conceded on the road to West Ham could potentially be scuppered at this particular point and give us an actual opportunity to go out there and get some goals at the front whilst also remaining stronger at the back? Should we start with
Yeah.
Or go back to you both being polite? Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I agree, 100%. I think with the 2 new center backs, well, Turner's not new, but it's like a new signing, like everybody's saying. Yeah, I think we should be excited. They look like a really good partnership, and if they're solid, then it's really the job of the midfield and the front line to also do their job, and I think they will.
And Helen?
Yeah, I don't think we want Lad in defence, do we? So, yeah, Yeah, I think going forward, probably Millie and Maya are the first choice centre halves, and I'd like to see Vilda actually play. Obviously, well, a lot of criticism. You can't drop Zellum, or she won't be dropped. But I don't know what the solution is. Good job, I'm not a manager.
Right, this is what I say to Connor all the time. He's like, "Who would you pick? Who would you pick?" It's like, "It's not my job, Connor. It's not my job. I'm here to support."
I'd love to see Tunkara. I can't just say her name. Tunkara, is it? I'd love to see her start. See what she's made of on Sunday.
But this is the interesting thing, isn't it? Is that we've got players that we'd like to see play because they haven't played. Obviously, we've still got Grace Clinton and Rachel Williams was injured in the last match, so she couldn't play. But there's still those possibilities, and again, the question for Maya Letitia, she's been brilliant in the centre back positions, but we also know that she plies her trade as a fullback. So, is there an argument that could this be the week where we see Maya Letitia move into fullback, or do you keep the back four exactly as it was? Seeing just how well we played, Steve, at the weekend, surely we keep it the same. Surely it would be madness to change.
Yeah, said to a few people, even straight over the full-time whistle, you keep that team as it is, to be honest with you, against West Ham. They didn't really put a foot wrong. I think it was one of the strongest lineups you're going to see at the moment. So I would stay with that. Helen mentioned she'd like to see Vilda. Yeah, I'd like to see Vilda get into the game a bit earlier, but I think the next game after that will be Villa in the Conti. I think that's where you'll start to see the changes, and that maybe is the chance for Tunkara to come in. That maybe is the chance for Vilda. Maybe you play a bit more of an attacking midfielder. So, yeah, this week I think it's stick.
And Helen, you mentioned you wanted Vilda to play. You're quite right, Steve. When Vilda came on, she replaced Toons. She was playing attacking midfield. Which one of the three? Obviously, Groman's not there, but obviously Ladd started at the weekend. Which one of those three, Toon, Ladd, or Zellum, would you move out of the way to give Vilda an opportunity?
Is it controversial to say Toon?
It's not controversial to say that.
Maybe. I got the impression that the weekend game she was almost trying too hard, overplaying a bit, and maybe she needs one game rest, perhaps a half rest. If we can call West Ham less of a challenge, I don't know, but maybe she'll get rested in the cup. But yeah, unless you play four in midfield, it's a bit hard to fit everyone in.
Yeah, very much. Again, I did this when I was talking to the people at the beginning. You wouldn't have seen it, right? But through all of this, I've been sat here going, yeah, I'm agreeing with you. And nobody's thinking, yeah, I'm nodding. Everything's great. It's not. So I'm just nodding there. But yes, okay, that's a really good point. Toon could come down for that. And we have said she's had a really busy year. She was very tired, obviously. I think towards the end of last year, she then had the Euros to go through as well. And then she immediately came back and was playing some of the pre-seasons and is back in the starting lineup now. So absolutely, I think that's a reasonable shout. Beth, a question for you. Martha Thomas is there on the right-hand side. Who would you have playing in that right-hand side? Did Garcia do enough for you to be able to start that game? Or are we looking at a Leon, a Paris? Who gets that spot for you at the weekend?
I mean, that's actually a pretty tough question. I know Garcia did amazing, and she had a couple chances on goal that I think if she was in a little bit better form, like close towards the middle or end of the season, she probably would have put them away. But I really like Adriana Leon as well. I've seen her. I'm not Canadian, but I've watched the Canadian women's national team quite a bit. She's really good in those situations as well. I think, and Nikita Paris is also like, I know it's controversial, but she's a good player on her day, and hopefully that happens for United and we can use her. But I think for now, in the beginning of the season, until we can make those changes in the cup, and I agree with everyone, I think for now, keep Garcia there, let her build that relationship that she already has with Anna on the right, and then see where that goes. And then if we need to, after the cup, whenever we bring other people in, if we bring other people in, hopefully, then we can assess from there.
No, absolutely. Outrageous behaviour, John. That's 2 shows in a row now. Me and you can have words at this rate. I was jumping. You still couldn't see me. Don't take the mickey. I jest. Talking about those particular positions that we could have had, we spoke a lot about the substitutions as well, and we said that there was lackluster, seems like the wrong word, but we didn't take advantage of the fact that we had such a strong position. Do we think that the shoots when they came on, do we feel like we should have seen more from them to try and change the game, or do we think by that point the game was so far gone and Reading was so close to their goal line and so desperate to maintain the 4-0 as it was and not concede anymore, that realistically they didn't have that sort of chance? What do we think? The substitutes came on, they did all right. Did any of them, for you, Ellie, put them in a position where you're thinking they deserve to start over one of the players who started at the weekend?
I don't know. I thought Paris did actually a pretty good job because she was on the ball quite a bit when she came on. But I don't know. I wouldn't start over anyone, but she was actually brilliant when she came on. But about the substitutions, I think I don't know. I would have liked to maybe have seen a bit more, or subs earlier on because, like you said, I think Toon looked a bit tired in the game. So obviously when she came off, was it Barisa that came on? I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, she played outstanding as well, Vilda. So obviously I'd love to see Vilda play. And like what was said then about Toon, maybe give Toon like a rest and put her on. But you see what I mean? I think sometimes Toon can get a bit, not mad, but a bit like, oh no, I should be starting and everything. So that's like, that was my impression of Toon on Saturday when she was walking around. She seemed a bit, I don't know, just a bit fuming that she came off. But I did think she was pretty tired. She looked pretty tired. But yeah, I'd love to see Vilda start more. Maybe over one of them. Maybe give Toon like a break or something. But like I just said, sometimes she doesn't like it. But we've just got such good depth now. We want to see them all on the pitch. But yeah, I think Vilda deserves a starting 11 to get in the starting 11.
Excellent, fair point. And TJ says here that we might not be seeing Clinton because she caught a cold and might be, but let's be honest, that's more than the Reading keeper caught, wasn't it? So, that's one up on that one. Steve, I don't know why I went for that, but there we go. I did. It's Reading. Why am I taking the mickey out of them? Steve, this question here. I wonder if West Ham's power in the air might actually be a good game to have Tunkara and Maya start. And we saw in one of the pre-season games, Tunkara just does not care. She will fly through everybody. Leah Galton will probably never go near the goal line again when Tunkara is there, because it was like an articulated lorry had just come flying through the middle of the pitch. But could that sort of power and that sort of height, Turner we know as well isn't exactly tiny, could that be something that's useful, especially in a game where, when you look at the last one, we had 19 shots, 7 of them on target, and they only had the one. So, we surely need to make the most of the height advantage where we can.
Yeah, of course. And she's obviously been brought in with that in mind. She does love to get stuck in. You're going to see that over the season, hopefully. But I don't think it's going to change for this weekend. I still think Maya and Millie are going to hopefully win their duels. And they're both good in the air. They showed that. I mean, Millie's shown it for a few years for United, and then Maya's shown it last weekend defensively and getting the goal at the top. She can win those duels. She can get the headers and the clearances. So it's an option. It's also an option that if it is coming down to a battle, that you could actually see the 3 of them together as a defensive 3 and keep that solid back line, and then push the wing backs further up, and we could actually look at it going that way. So we've got those 3 who might be able to actually work together. and it would allow us, if they do the counter attacks, they're getting off a set pieces like they did at the end of last season. Then you've got all three of them in there to win the duels and to help you out on that. So yeah, it's a very good option as well. Point well raised.
We love those options, and yes, we'll just throw this one back up there again. Max, good to see you as well. 23 of you in the chat. I've got no idea what the likes are like, but if you haven't pushed that like button, please just cheer Connor up. Make a Connor happy today. Hit your like button. Helen, what do you make of the fact that last season we didn't score as many goals as we should have done? We know that, and that's why we missed out on the top three. Our goal scoring wasn't as good as the top three. The people that we brought in now, would you expect? We had a 50% shot conversion on target rate against Reading. Would you be expecting us now, with the signings that we've made and with, like I say, the strength in defence and attack, would you be expecting now that if we were to have 19 shots on target this weekend, that we'd definitely put more of them away than we have previously? What do you think?
As a fan, yeah, definitely. You always want to have goals all over the pitch, not just the forwards. Goals from midfield, even defenders from set pieces, which we've seen already, luckily. But I think the high of the Euros has given that boost of confidence and can only spread throughout the team. And I think with Garcia especially being an unknown player for the rest of the league, and she's got that flair to score and set up goals. I think even Adriana is a bit of a flair player. She's full of confidence from the national team, and she nutmegged a Reading player at the weekend, which was great to see. And yeah, just if we have more of a defensive unit at the back consistently, then I think that will allow the freedom for the forwards and the attacking midfielders to go on and create and score more goals. So, but I think confidence in front of goal certainly needs to improve from last season. It seemed we were just panicking or just shooting from way out just because, without perhaps trusting in the ability where you don't have to think, you just do it because it's natural or you've done it in training. So hopefully that can come through more this season.
Absolutely. And Beth, just on this one here, John reckons, or Jonathan, sorry, I shouldn't presume to think that we can shorten his name. I don't really know the guy. I thought MLT was better than Millie in the air, probably because it was the first game back, his first game back. How do you think Millie did? Because we said she's like a new signing, but I mean, she was faultless, I thought, for a first game back. Was that what you saw?
Yeah, definitely. And if you think about like her injury, the aerial stuff is, I know she went through a lot of prehab and rehab and everything, but it's still kind of scary, like to go up and head and contend with other players. So I thought she was also flawless. I have no critiques of her whatsoever, especially thinking about, like, I know I'm going to go on about that injury, but like that, it was terrifying. And I can only imagine like her coming back from it and then being able to put down a performance like that just gives you all the confidence in the world.
Absolutely. It was a very scary injury, very scary. I can remember at Leicester when she came off. And yeah, it was not nice to hear about that at all. And very, very pleased that Millie made it through and is back kicking the ball again. So we have our news now. We can either call him Jatoni or John. So I'm thinking of Jatoni, but then he very quickly corrected me, so we'll have to go with Johnny. So Johnny it is. There we go. Thank you very much, Johnny. And John Fry. So many Johns, honestly. Must have been a bit of a boom for John names. Millie was Millie, always consistent and great on the ball. And absolutely, that is the case. Didn't mean that one to happen. Career-threatening injury. And yes, absolutely it was. So, Ellie, when you first came to LSV, compared to what you saw at the weekend, what do you think was the biggest difference in them that you saw from the two games? I've thrown her there. She weren't expecting that one.
What is it like, the atmosphere or anything?
No, in terms of the actual team, and as we mentioned about the way we scored goals in this season compared to last season, is there anything that you've noticed that's different? I mean, we know you love the girls, we know you love the team. You know, it's not a negative thing. Do you notice any differences between team when you first saw them last season and the team that we're looking at now?
The depth. I must admit the depth, because we've got such a strong squad this season, I think. So obviously, I'd hate to see any of the girls injured, but if we end up having an injury, then it'll be solved, because we've got obviously some new girls and everything. So I think the issue last season was our centre backs, and I think we've actually got a couple this season. So I think that was my worry last season. So now I think we've got such a strong centre back. Obviously, with Millie back now, so that's good. But I just think the strength of the team this season, at that first game that I seen that weekend, I thought this is a team now that can go all the way and actually win something this season. That's how positive I feel about this team this season than last season. I'm not saying we was rubbish last season, because we actually weren't. We did our absolute best, but I just think we've got some more players in our youngsters as well. Marc is actually confident about the youngsters, which I love. So like Mela Tizier coming in, I think she's proved everyone wrong. Everyone, like what she's capable of, and that is what we want for a centre back like she is. So, do you know what? It's brilliant this season. Like I said, this is the season with this team. We can go all the way, and I believe we actually can. We can even win the WSL. That's how confident I am with the team this season. I really am. We've got some talented youngsters. I like Maya now. She's outstanding. Obviously, we've got Russo. We've got Mary in the net. What else do we really need?
I love it. I love the positivity. I love the happiness. I love the joy. I love the sheer joy that you bring when you're sitting there watching those players. Everything about that, Ellie, I love. But what I won't stand for is people claiming that they said we were going to win the WSL first, because I did it on this show. I sat there and said it and kind of went, oh, I don't think so. No. I said it. If it doesn't happen, I'll have to retire. But if it does, I'm having the credit. I definitely said that. But yes, 100%, Ellie, we're going to win it. Why would we not? Steve, who's going to be the standout player for you this year? Who is going to be, not necessarily this year, but this game against West Ham, who's going to be the danger person for us that West Ham need to look out for? Whisper it so they don't hear.
The danger one is going to be Alessia up top, really, isn't it? To be honest with you, she's been that threat. She's shown it little glimpses last year, some great goals, and then throughout the summer, what she did coming off the bench for England, the goal she did there, she showed what she can do again at the weekend. That header, saw that a couple of times last season, and to be honest with you, I expect her to add another goal. And when you've got a goal scorer like that, it makes defences panic, and they're trying to figure out where she is. But then when you've got Tooney playing half, we saw in the pre-season, it was for England. Goal that Tooney scored, a little tap in. It was the run off the back of what Lessie's doing, because the two defenders are so scared of where Lessie was. They both go to her and they forget to pick up their own player. So she'll be doing that again this weekend.
Fair points. So, quick question for the four of you. Obviously, Bethany, you're not going to be coming unless something major's happened, but who's travelling down to West Ham? I mean, I'm going. Are you going down, Ellie? You on the bus?
Yeah.
Excellent.
The Barmy bus.
Indeed, the Barmy bus. I would imagine it's too late to book, but who knows? If you visit the MUWSC Travel or something like that, or is it club? What's it called? One Club United.
MUWF. No. MUWSC. That's what it's called.
Right, go there. I don't know. I can't get a bus from Manchester down to London because I already live near London. It would be rather silly. So not something I've gone for. But absolutely, if there's a chance for you to do that, feel free. Helen, are you making it down?
I can't this time, but I'm hoping to do another couple of games this season, 2 or 3. So
that'd be good. Listen, if you can get down, get down. That's always the one. Steve, are you coming down?
I didn't leave. I just pressed the wrong button. Yeah, I'm going to be there. Driving down though, so
nice. I would be driving down, but I'm actually traveling with Charlie. This is going to be an entertaining trip. We've never had such a thing before. Road trip. So I feel sorry for Charlie, really. So she'll probably need your messages of support. Okay. But yeah, there we go. So there's lots of us coming down for that, which is really good to see. So hopefully it will be an incredibly good game. Let's just have a quick look at some of the other things that are being said here. We're still on the Reading ones. And this has been the word that I've seen here, decisive. Yeah. These are the sort of things that we have been now that we weren't before. And absolutely, Ellie does make every single one of us smile all the time. And there you go. You've got the boss's approval too, Ellie. So great news. And here we go. We wanted some confirmation. There is still time to book. So if you do want to get yourself on the bus from up north down here near me, then feel free to do so. Steve, you've been offered that. I assume it's only going to cost you about a tenner, so feel free. Steve, yes, exactly, Ricky. That's exactly what I thought had happened. Absolutely. And no, I'm nowhere near the boss. I'm, for better or worse, the face of this particular. That's not good when you've got a face like mine. So there we go. And yes, it is indeed on FA Player. So let's throw out there predictions. What do we think this game is going to bring us? Now, obviously, are all 4 of you in our prediction league? Yeah. I know Steve is, and he needs to
nodding as if I know the other 3 are, but yeah, I'm in there.
And Ellie, you definitely are, and I know Helen, you are. But Bethany, are you in our prediction league?
Not yet. I wasn't able to get into it at the very beginning, so I'm gonna get in there. I know.
Never mind. You can help me. You can send me some text and go, I reckon it's going to be that, and we'll see how we go.
Sounds good.
You can jump on my cat. Yeah, that's it. We'll do that. That's great. And it's been a really good one so far. Mr. John Commode did incredibly well. That's quite good. He's in 5th. And Connor did quite well as well. But let's see.
I did as well against Red, and I did really good, but obviously I said 4-1. But why?
See, I went 4-0. The only one I got right. It's quite happy with that. So based on that, Ellie, you went 4-1. So how are you going to be 1 goal off today? What are you going for the weekend? United against West Ham. What's the score going to be?
I said on the prediction league 3-1. I don't know, but I think that score's like my favourite score for most of these games. Don't know why, but yeah, I said 3-1. Obviously, I want Leon to score against the former club. That'll be just the best thing ever. Obviously, Toon and Russo, I'm going, and the 1-0. I just think I don't know, because obviously that the game we last played at West Ham, they just scored like right before the end, so. That's all I'm worried about, but I'm just going 3-1. That's what I'm going.
Very good. We had some 2-0, some 3-0, a 4-0. I think I went 3-0. TJ, are you in? Well done. Well done, sir. I did not see that. I haven't looked at the entire 66 placings yet, but well done. Good job. And yeah. The only one you got right was the Spurs game. Yes, he did. He went 4-0 on the vlog and 3-0 on the predictions league. That's Connor for you, but he wasn't well. Beth, what do you think? What's the score going to be?
I actually think it's 3-1 as well. I see 3-1.
To do well, I'm definitely going to start listening to you for the predictions. That would work. Helen, what did you go for?
2-0 to United. Well, Man United.
2-0, very good. And Steve, what about you?
So, yeah, going for a 3-0, like I said earlier, didn't actually put any predictions in this week, but I can't put it to get for United to concede, to be honest with you.
You haven't sent me yet. You can do. The matches don't start.
I will send them as soon as I'm done here, but I just can't have United conceding. So, clean sheets all around for United this season.
I don't think we're going to concede either, Steve. I really don't. I'm just like Ellie's so confident with everything else, and I feel really confident about it. And we took their best player, I think, in Leon. So I'm just not convinced. Having said that, if Kirsty Smith starts, don't bet against her scoring a goal, because that's pretty much always the way it goes, isn't it? I am going to ask you for who you think is going to score. But before we do that, I just think now would be a nice little time just to get to know a little bit our two new friends here down below. So we'll start off with Beth down there. I mean, so many sports you could choose from in America, so many things that are going on, fantastic NFL teams, you've got your baseball, your basketball. What brought you to the delights of Manchester United, and specifically Manchester United women?
Yeah, so I've actually been following the men longer than the women. Surprise, surprise. But I jumped on the women as soon as the team came about. But I was in college, and one of my friends had said, "Hey, who's your favorite player? You can't say Messi or Ronaldo, because then I know you don't watch the sport." And I was like, "Okay, Wayne Rooney," because he was like, outside of Messi and Ronaldo, like Wayne Rooney was the player that I watched, the player that I liked, and I was like, "Oh, geez, I really hope like I have to figure out what club he plays for," because I had seen him for the national team quite a bit. So I looked it up, and it was Manchester United. I was like, "Okay, gonna start watching." This is a really interesting story, but I found a broadcast on, I think it was NBC. It was thankfully NBC, because before that it was extremely hard to find anything other than NFL, NBA, MLB, or even a little bit of MLS. But yeah, I started watching Man United from then, and the history and the stories and just the club culture just brought me in, and I'm here to stay.
That's what we like to hear. And your first United women's game that you saw was, do you remember that far back, or did it just happen organically?
Yeah, it just really happened organically. I don't remember, because it was pretty hard. I didn't know that the FA player was a thing for a while. So the first season, I wasn't really watching all that much. And I know they were in the championship in the first season anyway. But once they got into the WSL, I started watching as much as I could. Obviously, time difference is a little bit of a struggle, but I watch as many games as I can.
Excellent. And any plans to get over?
Yeah, I mean, I want to. That's a dream. It's definitely a dream.
Well, when you do, let us know, and we'll save you space. Absolutely, we're right in there with the noisy lot. Unless, of course, you want to sit in a maybe slightly quieter area, like our other new friend Helen down the bottom, who decided to sit behind the goal. Well, they did start up a couple of chants. What got you into Manchester United, and of course Manchester United women?
Paul Scholes. So my brother was a big United fan, and he's 4 years older than me. So when he was at high school, it was the United versus Arsenal, who's going to win the league sort of time, and he was just fell in love with United. And I think back when the Champions League was on at ITV, there was a few games, and I just saw Paul Scholes play and thought, wow, what a player. And the way he was with the media and everything, just nonchalant and almost shy about his ability, that I thought, that's great. That would be me if I was a footballer. And yeah, just bonded with my brother over United. And when the women's team was formed, I was very pleased and loved Casey Stoney and her career. And yeah, just tried to follow them as much as I could in the championship. I don't think I watched many games, but I just kept on top of the scores, see what they were doing, because it wasn't that accessible, was it? And then once they were in the WSL, I just watched as many games as I could when they were broadcast, and tried to go along to a few as well. So.
Excellent. And do you remember your first one, or?
I do, against Liverpool, in the pouring rain with Lauren James scoring the winner.
At least we won, eh? There's nothing worse than getting wet and losing.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, there we go then. So now everything there is to know about young Beth and young Helen there. And then Debs comes popping in. What is this?
I know, I've just seen that.
We've never won at West Ham with fans present, and that changes on Sunday. I presume what she means by that is that the result will change and we will actually beat them on Sunday. But yeah, that is a heck of a fact that young Debs has thrown in there. So hope so. Hope we win that one. Otherwise, that's going to go a little bit wrong for us. Ashley, 100%. One of the things, and I hope that our two new friends, as we said here, are feeling that as well. The community that's been built up that I have seen through All for United Women is just unreal. It is a nice community. It's got lovely people in there. The people in the comments, you're all proper stand-up people. You've got nice things to say, and I don't mean nice things about you don't argue with us when we have different points. You're allowed to do that. That's what happens in a normal society, but you do it in the right way. And absolutely, I couldn't agree more with you, Ashley. I think it's a wonderful community, and it's the sort of thing that makes me want to come back every single week. I would love John to see this. If I saw Mary Earps score a hat trick, quite frankly, I think that would be around about the time to just call it a day and go, I've seen everything there is to see now. Nothing more can be seen. Russo to score 2, Garcia 1, and a Katie Zellum free kick. I would do that. I love that as well, at least. Russo getting on most people's scoring sheets. Mickey is loving what you've got to say, Helen. So that's some good stuff there. And yes, he was probably the most underrated. I always hate it when they say, who was best, Gerrard or Lampard? Easy answer, Paul Scholes. So yeah, good stuff. Absolutely. Connor agrees there. And here we go. Deborah H loves a good random stat. Absolutely, she does. And I'm sure she shall bounce back with another one soon. And yeah, not to mention a diverse community. Absolutely. They come from all over the globe. And we love that too. So before we finish, I asked you, pinking time now. So this really shouldn't be the world's worst drama. Scorers. You gave us your scores. Roughly, who do you think is on this weekend? We'll go the other way around. Steve, you can kick off.
So yeah, to get alluded to it already, definitely Alessia getting on the score sheet. Did see a quick mention for Katie Zellum getting a free kick. Would love to see another stunning free kick top bin from her. And I'm going to say Wildebo Russo off the bench.
Ooh, I'd love to see that. I really would, because, I don't want Vilda really to leave specifically. I would love for her to be able to come in and make an impact off the bench and almost be like, our favourite Norwegian, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and just be that person off the bench that whacks in those goals. And wouldn't it be great if she scored the winner in the Women's Champions League final next year? One can but dream. Ellie, what do you reckon? Who's the scorer is going to be? You said 3 goals.
Tune from the halfway line. A banger. I'm going and what? She'll score a banger. Her, Mela Tiziagan. I'm going to go Russo header.
Do you know what? There's part of me that thinks you've gone absolutely mad from the halfway line idea. But I can remember being at that West Ham game and there was a ridiculously long shot that either hit the bar or just went over. And it certainly had me out. I mean, I was out of my seat anyway, but it would have had me out of my seat had I been sat down. So, yeah, that could well happen. Beth, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Toon and Russo definitely. And then it's between Garcia and Leon for me. Like, I really want to see those two get on the score sheet. But I know I said 3-1, so I'm going to go Toon, Russo, Garcia.
To Russo, Garcia, and Helen. You get to finish off the predictions. 2 goals, you said. Who's nodding them in?
I'm going to go Leah Galton with a brace.
Leah Galton with a brace. Fun fact. Okay, that finishes our West Ham preview. But I do have one last question because I like a random stat as well. And I was having a little wander through because obviously Katie Zellum got her 100th cap at the weekend. So myself, well, who's next? And Kirsty Hansen's on 90. She's had 90 appearances, but obviously is on loan. So she is not going to be the one that gets that. The next two are Leah Galton on 85 and Millie Turner on 84. So that is gettable this season. So a one-word answer, I mean, you're welcome to go, Hanson, but I will question your judgment if you do. Which of those three do you think will get to the 100 first? Because there's not really any after that. You're talking 60 for like Hayley Ladd, so not likely to be one of those. So who do we think it's going to be out of those three? We'll go the other way around this time. Ellie.
Millie Turner.
Millie Turner. Beth.
Millie Turner.
Helen.
I'm going to go Galton again.
Oh, good news. Steve-O.
Millie.
Millie. So it's 3 for Millie, 1 for Galton. And for old time's sake, I feel like I need to go #Hanson in. It'd be lovely if she did. But it would also mean that Galton and Turner weren't playing. So let's be honest, it's got to be one of those. Guys,
this season is Millie Turner's season. Millie Turner's season.
It's Millie Turner's bounce back tour. We love that. So it's been great. It's been a wonderful week, a wonderful evening. We've had 2 new people. I've really enjoyed it. And on a day when FIFA women's rankings were thrown out there and we found out that Onabache is our highest player on there, ranked 43rd, and she doesn't even have the Manchester United badge next to her. On a day when we found out that Mary Earps is ranked 89th, level with the likes of Ellen White and Kira Walsh. I know, me too. On a day when Galton and Blundell were ranked 115th, and on a day where Katie Zellum is ranked 146th, which is the same level as Maya Letitia, if you know, you know, then I think all that's really left to say is let's just hope we go and smash the West Ham, because I think that's Steve, Ellie, as ever, it's been absolutely fabulous having you here. People in the comments, it's been grand, actually, listening to everything you've got to say there. Connor backs it all up brilliantly. But my most special thanks go to our 2 brand newbies who've done a fantastic job. I can remember, as can Ellie, as I'm sure Steve can as well, our first goes, and it's not easy, but you've both done really, really well. I think it's been brilliant. I've been fascinated listening to everything you've got to say, and it's been lovely to hear some different people talking to me as well. So it's always nice. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you guys in the comments. And once again, I always do this. I do my closing bit and I never have the thing ready to push, which is never great. But there we go. We're there now. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a cracking evening, good weekend, and see you in London.